This is the defendant's lobby, alright, but there's no defendant. I've been trying to reach Lana all morning. Where could she be? And where's Emma for that matter? It almost seems as if something's been happening behind the scenes. Edgeworth. Knowing you, you've already figured it out. Who the owner of the 77 number ID number is. Well, I've had a pretty strong hunch. Looks like I'm not the only one who's figured it out. You know, the only reason this trial didn't reach a verdict yesterday is because there was still room for doubt on this ID record. If that number does belong to whom you suspect, then no doubt will remain. After all, he hasn't been officially charged with anything. True, not yet. In any event, once all doubt has been removed from that list, I can call for a ruling. On the defendant, 5 minutes after the trial starts, Lana will be found guilty. But she didn't do it. I figured you'd say as much. That's why I came here, to hear what you have to say. This is the first time he's ever done something like this. Lana's hiding something, and the only way we'll ever know the truth is to draw it out of her. The truth. Everything goes back to the SL9 incident. Don't be stupid. Today's the last day of the trial. You don't have time to reminisce about the past. That depends on you. If she's found guilty, you'll lose your only chance to find out what really happened. I'll think about it. See you in court, Wright. Yeah, see you there. This is it. If I'm ever going to find out what Chief Gant has on her, it's now. I think we could really piece together what Gant has on her. February 25th. Yeah, okay. Court is now in the session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. Normally this is when the prosecution puts forth its opening statements, but before that the police chief has a proposal to make. Morning folks, how's everyone doing? Hey Udgy, been back to the pool yet? No, I've been drowning enough as it is in my work. Oh, that's a good one, don't think you can top that. If you don't mind me asking, Chief, exactly what is this proposal of yours? Lana, that is to say, the defendant has asked me if she could speak directly to the courts. She wants to do what? I haven't heard what she intends to say. I feel she should be granted her request. In the end, it should save everyone a lot of time and trouble. She's gonna admit to it. She's gonna do it. What's this all about, defendants? I'd just like to make one simple request and I'll be finished. Well then, what's your request? Your Honor, I'd like you to put an immediate end to this trial. Yeah. I confess to all charges against me. On February 21st of this year, I murdered Detective Bruce Goodman in the underground parking lot of the prosecutor's office. Why do you do these things? Yeah, fuck. You can't, you're just making things worse. Your Honor, the defendant's claim does not change the defense's plea. In that case, Mr. Wright, I no longer require your services. Lana. Your Honor, I hereby forfeit my right to an attorney. The prosecution may lack direct evidence against me, but it has sufficiently proven its case through testimony and circumstantial evidence. I'd like you to render your verdict now, if you please. While the defendant certainly has a right to self-representation, her request is legally valid, although this is an unprecedented situation. Indeed, it appears there's no further need to continue this trial, even if Mr. Wright may feel otherwise. Are you serious? It appears the time for the verdict has arrived. Confines the defendant. Hold it. Objection. One more moment, Your Honor. Mr. Edgeworth. Prosecution has not yet proven the defendant guilty, yet beyond a reasonable doubt. Any ruling at this stage would certainly be premature. Come now, Worthy. I understand this is a difficult time for you. But why don't you just be a good little boy and keep your mouth shut, I don't think I care for your tone, Chief Gant. Oof, I don't either. What? You're creating another fabrication to cover up your past mistakes. Sorry, but I'm no longer a naive little boy you'd have me be. Ooh, Edgeworth. With a sudden confession from the defendants, it's obvious to me some kind of deal was stuck behind the scenes. Some kind of deal, Not everyone operates as you do, Worthy. I thought so. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to change its first witness. Oh, to whom? As its first witness, the prosecution would like to call Miss Emma Skye. I request the court hear her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, I am exercised in my right to self-representation. I don't think we need to contend. I don't care what you think, Miss Skye. yeah, Edgeworth, say fuck him. Exposure of truth sometimes results in tragedy. However, no matter how tragic truth may be, it would be an even greater tragedy to avert one's eyes from its. Oof, dude, hell yeah, Edgeworth. Very well, the court shall grant the prosecution's request. Doesn't even give a shit about their fucking years of background shit. That's okay with you, right, Chief Gans? Worthy, you'll live to regret this. Mark my words. I doubt it. Miss Emma Skye, please take the stand. Looks like Edgeworth has decided to take the horse by the reins. Hell yeah, Edgeworth. Thank you, man. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. My name is Emma Skye. My occupation, I'm Lana's little sister. I want to be a scientific investigator. 2 years ago, you encountered the serial killer Joe Dark of the Joe Dark killings. Is this correct? Yes. I'm trying my hardest to forget about that, though. I'm sorry. I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to recall those events one more time. Mr. Edgeworth, please remember this trial concerns the murder of Detective Goodman. Is an incident that was all 2 years ago really all that relevant? Yes, it most certainly is. Yeah, he's helping us out. It's like if I got a 2v2 here. Okay then, sure gave in fast. Now, please testify about what happened to you 2 years ago. The trip to yesteryear has finally begun. It's bound to lead to the truth behind this trial. I was waiting in my sister's office that day. A man came running in and took me hostage. Neil Marshall rescued me, but I'll never forget what I saw that instant. The man raised up his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest. Good thing you weren't harmed. I passed out. I don't remember much. That's understandable, however. Please tell me, Mr. Edgeworth, what does this testimony have to do with Detective Goodman's murder? That will soon become apparent, Your Honor. You've got to admire him for his courage, considering he has no evidence. Very well, this defense may begin its cross-examination. You doing alright, Emma? I was waiting in my sister's office that day. 2 years ago, the defendant was detective at the police department, correct? Yes, she was second in command under Chief Detective Gantz. My sister, she was the best detective ever. Yes, I remember. Chief Detective Gant and Miss Skye used to be quite the pair. I believe they shared the same office. That's right. I'd always sit at my sister's desk and dream about playing that organ. I wanted to play it that day too. The police department and the prosecutor's office held a ceremony that day. Lana promised me to take me to dinner after we finished their work. The man came running in and took me hostage. Press. A man. Yes, Joe Dark. He was a serial killer. Joe Dark was brought in for questioning on the day of that ceremony. We were desperate to get anything on him that would lead to an arrest. When we saw his chance, he fled to the room, Wright. Upon fleeing the room, Dark proceeding to take the elevator. He must have been in panic because the elevator was going up. Then he ran into Sky and Gant's office. There's a lot of noise coming from outside, so I opened up the door to have a look. That's when I saw him. O'Neill Marshall rescued me. I'll never forget what I saw that instant. Can you tell us about that? Mr. Marshall jumped on Dark just then. The lights went out. The lights. It was just about this time of year. There was a terrible storm going on and lightning struck nearby. So electricity went out. Wait a minute. If it was pitch dark in that room, you shouldn't have been able to see anything, right? Alright, but just then lightning flashed again outside. That sudden flash left an unforgettable image of the scene in my mind. I see. I told the detective about what I saw then. The detective? Yes. Detective Goodman, he was in charge of the case. The victim. So you spoke with Detective Goodman about this 2 years ago. Yes, that's what's so scary about the trial. And you told Detective Goodman about what you saw. Yes, but at the time the words just wouldn't come out. That's why I drew a picture. A picture? Yeah, I think she mentioned that before. Oh, Mr. Wright, have you heard enough? No. The picture the witness drew, I believe it has a very important meaning. But the list of evidence I was given 2 years ago didn't contain a picture. Witness, would you mind if we added this statement to your testimony? I drew a picture of that scene once, but it seems to have been lost. It is right here, actually. Mr. Edgeworth, this little girl put all her heart into drawing that picture, and yet you still insist on denying its existence. Hey, I'm not the bad guy. All I'm saying is that as the prosecutor for that case, I wasn't handed such a picture. That may well be, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Behold. This is the evidence list for the SL9 incidents. Please turn it over, Your Honor. Turn it over. Turn it. What's this? Yes, what is that? Hey, that's it. That's the picture I drew. It's a pretty good picture, I'll be honest. I wouldn't be able to do anything like that. Indeed, 2 men appear to be wrestling here. What's the meaning of this? What are you doing with that list? Me. Only the prosecutor in charge should have access to that list. Huh? These lists, they're different from each other. What? It would appear, Mr. Edgeworth, that the evidence list you were handed 2 years ago was incomplete. These two lists fit together to form one. You can see the marks here where they were torn apart from each other. So you see, Mr. Edgeworth, it's quite obvious what happened 2 years ago. Only half the evidence in the case ever reached you. What? Yeah, time for you to learn the truth as well, huh, Edgeworth? Order, order. Who would have thought the picture would have been drawn on this back of the list? That was handed to Detective Goodman in the questioning room. Wait a minute. If this list was torn in half, then that means... Your Honor. Are you alright, Mr. Wright? Your eyes are bulging from your head. If the evidence list was torn in half, it might be more than the drawing on the back of Mr. Edgeworth's list. Yeah, that's quite conceivable, Mr. Edgeworth. It's possible. Let's see. Are you telling me you never looked in the behind the piece of paper? No one ever checked the back of your paper? Are you kidding? Do you ever have to ask? You even have to ask? Sorry, Your Honor. There is something drawn on the back of my list. How did you not know that is that thing? knew he was the murderer. Blue Badger, all along. That's that thing. That's what was dancing in the evidence room. Apparently the head of criminal affairs used this for his blueprints. It wasn't even his original design. No, fuck off. We're looking at that right now. We're looking at that right now. Let's see, check it out. What is that? What is that? I'm like turning my head to see what it is, but I don't get it. What the fuck is that? Okay. Will you please testify about the picture you drew 2 years ago? Huh? Oh, yes, sir, Your Honor. What's wrong with Emma? She seemed to be thinking about something when she saw the picture. This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. The flash of lightning was so bright all I could see were the shadows. After that I must have fainted. The picture shows exactly what I saw that instant. To think a flash of lightning could burn such an image in your mind. Thanks to that though, she was able to show us exactly what she saw. Well, I don't see any contradictions here. Clearly shows Joe Dark about to murder Neil Marshall. The defense may begin its cross-examination. This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. Flash of light was so bright all I could see were shadows. After that I must have fainted. The picture shows exactly what I saw this instant. That looks like a pretty blunt knife if you ask me. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this picture the witness drew contained a blatant contradiction. But I still remember it just like it was yesterday. You know, last trial we had someone that was pretty sure that they're seeing the right thing. In fact, he's in the same room right now, if I'm looking in his direction at the moment. Not him, but Phoenix Wright is looking at him, pointing in his direction. Perhaps it'd be faster if you simply pointed out this contradiction for us. What part of this picture contradicts the autopsy report? Let's see. This. Contradiction, of course, lies here. Take a look at the knife that the man is holding. If you look closely, you can see the tip is broken. In fact, you don't even have to look closely to see that. But Mr. Wright, look at the evidence. See the murder weapon? It's the tip is broken too. If I recall, the tip of the knife was found broken off in the victim's body. It is a conclusive piece of evidence that proved Joe Dark was the murderer. I'm afraid it's not so simple, Emma. Huh? Where could you possibly see a problem? It's obvious, really. The victim suffered a single stab wound to the back. If the victim was only stabbed once, then the murder weapon should not yet be broken. What's the meaning of this? Perhaps the knife was broken beforehand. Sorry, but I'm afraid that's not possible. The tip of the knife was found inside the victim's body. If it was broken beforehand, it couldn't possibly wind up there. That's right, but what does that mean? Oh my god. The tip of the knife was undeniably discovered within the victim's body. Only possible explanation is the witness's memory is mistaken. That's why I asked her so many times if she was sure she remembered correctly. I believe you were annoyed at the time, but she was sure she remembered correctly. There's no other way to explain this inconsistency. I think there is. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. There's another explanation. Have you forgotten already about a little something called falsified evidence? You're treading on thin ice, right? All I'm saying is, the first person that happened upon the scene may or may not have messed with this crime scene a little. That the broken knife might be a piece of evidence that was forged. You can't deny the possibility. No.